Hello, welcome to the Capitol Report on NTD Television. I'm Steve Lance. A battle between car companies and auto workers culminating today in a massive walkout. President Biden defending the union workers while facing criticism from those same folks. NTD's Iris Tao has more from the White House.
And President Biden today sided with members of United Auto Workers who are striking to demand a 40% pay raise to compensate for inflation. And Biden said that the big three automakers should share their record profits with their workers.
Auto companies have seen record profits. Those record profits have not been shared fairly, in my view, with those workers. They deserve a contract that sustains them in the middle class.
More than 10,000 auto workers walked out on Friday, demanding better pension, cost of living adjustments, and more job protections.
For the first time in our history, we will strike all three of the big three at once.
But the big three, including Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, say they could only give an about 20% pay raise, as they need to save enough money to invest in the shift toward EVs. The strike is posing both an economic and a political test to the Biden administration. On the one hand, President Biden has been casting himself as the most pro-union president ever. But on the other hand, experts say that a prolonged strike could cost billions of dollars in economic loss. And the United Auto Workers has been critical of the Biden administration's push to transition from gas-powered cars to EVs, saying that that move could put workers out of jobs.
If you look at the bigger picture of an electric vehicle, it uses 40% less people to assemble it because there's less moving parts, which what that means for the UAW is the fact they will, in the end, if things were to go 100% electric vehicle, you would lose 40% of your members.
And all this happens as President Biden is seeking for re-election and is seeking more support from middle-class working Americans. The United Auto Workers has been withholding its endorsement of President Biden's re-election bid. So it remains to be seen whether Biden's public support of their strikes today would get him more support. Reporting from the White House, Iris Tao, NTD News.
Tensions rising today in New York City over the immigration crisis. Lawmakers trying to address the issue, but they were met with frustrated protesters. NTD's Jason Perry was on the scene.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, along with other lawmakers, addressed the immigration crisis in New York City, but they were quickly disrupted by protesters shouting, "Close the border." Ocasio-Cortez continued speaking outside of Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan, which has been used to process illegal immigrants. She called for more federal resources to help deal with the crisis and added this.
Second is to allow for work authorization so that folks here can get to work and start supporting themselves as soon as possible.
And Representative Adriano Espaillat added this. A man in the crowd voiced his frustration to the lawmakers.
How is that bringing unity to this nation when you're taking care of illegal immigrants over your own citizens?
We spoke to some people in the area to see what they think is the solution to the migrant crisis.
Close the border. Close the border. It's the only solution. Have them remain in Mexico like the policy was before. Why does my family member have to wait in Colombia when they filed a legal petition and these people are right here on 45th Street?
And another man voiced his concern.
It's not right. You have to come through the proper channels. There's people that are waiting to get here, and they're skipping the line, and they don't care. We don't know who these people are. They're not vetted. Many of my ex-girlfriends were from other countries. You know what I mean? So this is not about hate.
And this man explained that it wasn't fair to the low-income families living in New York City.
They have congestion pricing in the city where you're going to have to pay $20 to drive into Manhattan. How are the low-income families supposed to survive? How are we supposed to raise our kids? While everyone gets everything for free, there's not two systems of justice in this country.
We also heard from an immigrant who recently arrived in New York City.
We never imagined, none of the immigrants, that we were going to be received like this. Nonetheless, I am grateful.
Protesters and politicians both made their voices heard today. This is clearly an issue that will continue to demand national attention. Jason Perry, NTD News, New York.
As the race for the White House heats up, former President Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis are set to clash at the same event. Who will be the ultimate choice for conservative voters? NTD's Sam Wong brings us more.
I'm here at the Prattville Stand Summit where several 2024 GOP presidential hopefuls are slated to speak. Right now, there's a huge crowd gathered behind me, so let's talk to some folks around me and see who will be their ultimate choice for the 2024 presidential election.
Well, I still believe President Trump would be the man.
I prefer Trump, but DeSantis, I could certainly vote for DeSantis without any problem.
Ron DeSantis, yeah. Love what President Trump did. I voted for him 4 years ago, but he's a very divisive personality.
The summit is hosted by evangelical think tank the Family Research Council. Both former President Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will be speaking at the event. As for which one of the two is leading the race, a recent Fox News survey finds that public support for Trump is expanding. He is now standing at 60%, marking a 7% increase from the previous month. DeSantis, on the other hand, is trailing Trump at a mere 13%, a downtick since the GOP presidential debate. Speaking of debate, Sunshine State Republicans are deciding whether to require a loyalty pledge for all candidates attending an upcoming event in Florida. So what makes good leadership in the public's minds? I asked some folks, and here's what they said.
DeSantis has a track record of bringing people together. I'm from Florida. I know a lot of people in Florida. Everybody in Florida loves him.
Well, we need candidates who are willing to actually talk about the issues that are corroding the fabric of our nation from a cultural, from a moral perspective.
As for more updates on the event, former President Trump will be speaking at 9 p.m. later tonight. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Sam Wong, NTD News.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.